What is going on, everybody? Happy Sunday. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. 'Tis the season, and I'm feeling jolly. It's been a phenomenal week. We had the release of the highly anticipated, long-awaited grand finale to Stranger Things. So season 5, part 1, 4 episodes dropped this past week. We had a brand new episode of Welcome to Derry, answer long-awaited questions and deep dive into the history of what it is and how far back it actually goes. We had one of the largest comic book release weeks that I've had in, I guess in a month, if we're being realistic. They come out every month, right? But Paul and I are here to dive into all of that stuff, talk about it, and finally talk full spoilers. It has been tough biting my tongue for the past few days with Stranger Things. I hope everyone's had a good Thanksgiving. We're going to spend the next hour and a half talking about TV shows and comics we're thankful for. Let's go. What is going on, Paul?
Not much. I am that aforementioned Paul.
There's the Paul. So, before we get into it, Paul has spent the last 2 weeks just on a marathon. Fill everybody in on how your last 2 weeks have been.
Yeah, I basically have watched all 4.5 seasons now of Stranger Things. And I'm 2.5 episodes into the American Revolution as well. So,
yes. Yeah. Speaking on that, like I've been on the biggest Ken Burns kick. He's catching strays. I'm watching the Civil War documentary right now, and I'll just get to a part where I'm just like overwhelmed. And I just called Paul yesterday. I'm like, yo, dude, I just got through this part, man. Like I got to tell somebody about it who understands, because not too many people have necessarily seen this documentary or deep dived into history like these Ken Burns documentaries do. He just recently came out with the Revolutionary War one, which after watching it, I've gone back and found out how highly anticipated it was and how they've been working on it for like a little bit over a decade. Mm-hmm. And the whole thing with his documentaries are held in high regard, but the kind of the joke to him is they don't come out very often and they're talked about all the time.
Right.
And the American Revolution one, it's all PBS, 6 parts over 12 hours. And in the last, I guess it's 9 days now. Well, Friday, in the last 9 days, I watched all 12-hour plus of the American Revolution. I'm on episode 5 out of 7 of his Civil War one, which are all over an hour in that one. I watched all 4 episodes of Stranger Things, which they're all pretty much over an hour, except for one of them right under. I've worked overtime all week long. I took the family out to multiple holiday outings, including the Big Lights of the South, took the kids to see Santa, went to the Nutcracker, plus had Thanksgiving. And I feel like it's just overload. And if anyone's ever wondering about, or say they don't have time for something, or I couldn't find time, I don't believe you. I just don't believe you. The trick is sleep less. It's really that simple. But a little loopy. But I've been napping a lot this week. That's how it's worked out, honestly. Every time I stop for a second, I just shut down. So I'm typically walking around with my phone playing. But man, what a fantastic start to the holiday season this has been. I want to touch on it just a little bit before we blow past it, though. What have you thought about the Revolutionary War docuseries so far?
It's funny because one of the things I mentioned to you was there was another series that was on PBS that was called Liberty, which is very similar to the Civil War. To the American Revolution. It's all about how America started in the Revolutionary War and what happened through the Constitution and everything like that. And some of the people that they mention in the Civil War, some of the soldiers, like J. Plum Martin, they mentioned he writes letters. He's referenced in both of them because they don't have a lot of letters necessarily like they do probably from like Civil War, obviously, because it's 110 years later or whatever, or 90 some years later. And some of the letters that they read in the American Revolution, I actually recall because I watch Liberty all the time. Probably once a year I watch Liberty. Yeah, I know. I have a.
That goes back to other conversations we had. He has an annual schedule for everything. Yeah,
that's right, exactly. It's like it's not the 4th of July if I don't watch Liberty and.
Where can you watch Liberty? Where
it was on PBS as well.
Okay. So you could probably, if you have YouTube TV or something like that, stuff for PBS, if you directly search it on like YouTube TV, it seems like all the PBS programming is there, but also public service announcement, since your tax dollars fund PBS, not
Mhm.
100%, because all the stuff is done by sponsorships. Like
Yeah.
these people that are making this stuff on PBS, they're getting independent funding for this stuff outside of our tax dollars. So don't think that you own it all. But there's a free PBS app, 100% free PBS app with all their programming on it. So if you ever just want to download the app, watch something cool, there's some cool
Yeah.
stuff.
And if you do like PBS too, I mean, the PBS is getting less money from the government because they basically have shut down the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. So
Whoops.
yeah,
You might want
uh,
to get hard copies.
yeah, exactly.
Speaking
But
of that, the Revolutionary War, if you go on pbs.com, you can, I don't know if it's a pre-order, if they're ready to ship or what, since it just came out, but you can get your Blu-ray copy of the American Revolution, and I highly recommend it.
yeah, absolutely. And I think if you can buy it there, if you make a one-time donation, you get the Blu-ray um, or and you can get like a book that the accompanying book that goes with it, and all those other good things. So
Yeah, and because I'm present on multiple social media platforms now, you kind of can gauge like the different temperatures toward any topic, any movie, any TV show, any comic. In this case, the American Revolutionary War documentary. It's Ken Burns' documentary, so it got a lot of publicity. Maybe not if you all you do is lock into comic content, but it got a lot of publicity. And some people were I don't want to say that they were just crying woke, because that's not what they were doing, but there were people that felt that this one was had a lot of inaccuracies in it about some stuff. And that's almost just as fun to go through and do too. And it's not, I think they're hyper focusing on like some minor stuff. Like I know you and I were talking as I was watching through it. There is some stuff that's legitimately like, I don't know, they kind of put their hand on the scale too much. That might be something that's mine. Like there's some stuff about history that I'm very aware of, and about some things that I think modern secularism kind of just, and that's going to happen with any of this stuff, I think. But all in all, I would say like it's probably, I mean, it's definitely the best Revolutionary War documentary you'll find by a country mile, even with those minor things like that. But if you're really a history snob or something like that, I think it just makes it even more fun, because if you watch it and you're curious about something, it gives you the same thing with comics. You read a book and you love it, you want more. So it kind of encourages you to go look for more. And that's a good thing about this stuff, is all these history sources they're pulling from, you can look into them yourself. And it's just really fun. It's good stuff. But yeah, so where do you want to start today? We've got the Welcome to Derry origin story. We've got Stranger Things season 5 finale. I kind of want to start there.
yeah.
If you're feeling that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ted, you want to do like the kind of the recap for those who came in late? You know what I'm saying?
You mean do the recap of the first 4 seasons?
How did we get here to Stranger Things season 5? I think you're up to the task.
Well, there's this place called the Upside. There's this town called Hawkins, Indiana. Okay, and unbeknownst to people before you get into the season 1, there's this place that's attached to Hawkins, which is called the Upside Down. And the best way to describe the Upside Down is if you take a piece of if you take a trapeze wire, okay, and you have a trapeze artist, okay, exactly, and you have a trapeze artist who is on the trapeze wire, okay, he can only step on the top of the wire without falling off, okay. Now if you put a flea on the trapeze wire, the flea can go to the side of the wire, it can go to the underside of the wire, and the underside is really what the upside down is. And so the underside is always there, but only certain things can actually get to it. Or so that's kind of how they explain, very crude terms, what the upside down is. It ends up kidnapping Will Byers in season 1. So the whole part of season 1 is learning about the Upside Down, having Will be in the Upside Down, having his friends, his mother, the sheriff, everybody kind of trying to rescue him from the Upside Down, and that basically is season 1.
Yeah, and the Upside Down is just a different dimension
Yeah,
that's present out there. The name of it is Dimension X.
right. It snows a lot, but it never accumulates.
Snows all the time.
Yeah, but it never accumulates.
Yeah, it's kind of like living in Georgia.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't
Right.
accumulate.
In season 2, Will is possessed by the Mind Flayer, who is basically one of the monsters that is in the Upside Down, and it is basically it's kidnapping people as as it goes along. So the whole part of season 2 is to keep the Mind Flayer from taking over Hawkins, the good Hawkins, not the Upside Down part. And how Will has basically been he is spying for the Mind Flayer, but he is also spying for the kids and the parents and everybody's fighting against it as well. And that's kind of season 2. And then they defeat the Mind Flayer, they think. But as
We
as
all know
all
they're
good
never they've
as
never been
all good monster
successful.
things go, you never really get rid of them.
Yeah, they've never been successful, have they?
Exactly. Season 3. Season 3, that was the
So
one where
good. The
yeah,
the mall where the Mind Flayer now comes out of the
yeah,
Upside Down and starts
exactly.
constituting in the real world by possessing individuals, drawing them to it, and then pretty much melting them and molding them into itself.
Mhm. Yeah. And they basically is the whole and obviously each season at certain points you learn a little bit more about the Upside Down and how things work and how they all interact and all the tunnels and everything. And um, so that's where season 3 is. It's basically we find out that in the mall there are a group of Russians that have basically built this. I don't know how they built it with nobody noticing, but
Massive.
there's this massive underground place where the Russians are now trying to open the gate. Okay, now I should probably mention Elle because she's important to this whole series. Elle is a person that was part of Hawkins Labs. Hawkins Lab is basically the nexus for everything that's been going on. We find out in Hawkins. Um, there is a gate that is closed and opened, and that's how the people come and go between the Upside Down and in our world. Elle she was a very little child. She was basically I say kidnapped. Mark might disagree with that. Um,
I don't disagree with that.
okay. um,
Hashtag justice for Brenner.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, and she was trained. She was trained by Dr. Brenner, who's played by Matthew Modine in this series. Um,
The hero of our story.
yeah, if you believe that. Um, who is training her basically to fight back against because he knows what the Upside Down. He thinks that they're going to come, they're going to take over the world, and our world's going to end. And so he's training these people. We're led to believe he's training them to fight back against the Upside
What
Down.
is coming?
Yeah, what is coming? So Elle has these powers that every time she uses them, she gets a little nosebleed. But she has, I guess you would call them like psionic powers. She can throw things, she can control things with her mind and things like that. But she's number 11, and she has a little tattoo that says she's number 11. So it's 011. But there are obviously, if there's 11, then there's got to be 10 more before her, you would
At
think.
least.
Yeah. So she does meet up with some of the other people at different points, and not everyone has the same powers. One person can make you, I think, what is Callie 8? I think.
Yeah, number 8.
Yeah.
She can
Callie,
give you vision. She can
yeah,
make you see
she can
things,
make you
right?
see things that aren't there. So not everyone has the exact same power. So Elle is very important because she can actually fight back against these monsters physically because you can shoot them, you can do whatever you want. It's not it doesn't really do any
Seems like
damage.
about the only thing that they respond to is heat or fire hurts
Right.
them, and L, and this people with the psionic abilities are able to. That's about it.
Correct. So at the end of season 3, they destroy the gate that the Russians are trying to open up. They destroy it. We're led to believe that maybe Hop is dead. Hop is the sheriff, and everyone else is hey great we won again.
Now in
Season 4,
season 4 is where it really amps up.
yeah, but I still didn't. I just still wasn't really great with the whole Russian thing. Was the whole Russian prison thing that wasn't my
I
favorite.
love it. Give me a good commie as a bad guy any day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's like I like it when the adults and the kids are working together to do something, and they were totally separated from each other for season 4.
Yeah,
Which
that is true. Yeah,
you know,
because Joyce and Murray were off getting Hop back.
right, right. So Hop is in. We find out that Hop was actually taken away by the Russians at the end of season 3. He was brought to a Russian prison, um, where he basically only spends like 2 weeks. It seems like forever, but
Oh yeah, yeah. They're vulnerable to Hopper with a broadsword too. Yeah, that's very
yeah,
true.
he did it. He did do a good Conan the Barbarian imitation.
He did. That was tough.
Yeah. And the kids, we find out that there is now this new thing called Vecna, who is basically he is the person that is basically in charge of the Upside Down, and he basically has been sending these monsters to to the real world in order to weaken them and get them ready for when he comes. And in season 4, he's kidnapping kids again. So he's bringing kids, and we find out that the reason why he's kidnapping kids is because kids are the most vulnerable, and he needs people who are vulnerable. And we find out in season 5 that's also why he was able to get into Will, because Will was very vulnerable for reasons that will become apparent later on.
Yeah, in season 4, he pretty much starts uh like killing kids as a way to make a weakened point between the Upside Down and Hawkins, because he was setting up these strategic points, because when you kill him, he'd be able to open a portal in that place, like kind of more of a permanent portal kind of thing, because whenever they come and go through the Upside Down, it kind of seals behind them. So for whatever woo-woo magic reason, like kind of like this little ritual of taking them out in that manner through their mind was helping to hold it open. He was trying to do it in multiple places to pretty much crack the ground and leave a permanent opening through Hawkins. And he ends up pulling it off, like surprisingly, in season 4. They stop him, air quotes there, but by the end of season 4, a massive earthquake and a giant rift opens all through Hawkins and stuff. And season 4 ends with our gang on the hillside looking down at the town at all these rifts and it just glowing and just everything kind of dying as it moves out. And that's where it left everyone off for years until season 5 just launched this week.
And in season 4, Elle loses her powers at the beginning anyway, but she's able to get them back by the end because Elle is very important to being able to defeat um,
Anything.
anything. The Demogorgon.
Anything.
The Demogorgon. Picture Starro with a body. The Demogorgon.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I normally have it right here. The past couple of weeks, I've been using it as like a little fidget spinner. Finn's got a little toy one, but he came and reclaimed it. But season 5 dropped 4 episodes on Thanksgiving. I think it was the day before Thanksgiving. Day before Thanksgiving.
Yep.
And we get caught up with our characters. We see where they're at. We see that like Dusty is kind of taking the traumatic events from the last season pretty hard. He's kind of emulating the character Eddie, who died in the last season, saving people and stuff. And the gang's kind of just living it. Some time has gone by. The military has come in, completely quarantined off Hawkins. The giant rift in the ground, they put steel plates over it. It's still there. It's just covered up. And the center where the portals intersected in the center of town is like the base of operations for the military. And there's a large portal that's just open where they're able to drive in and out of it. It's so big, but nobody knows it's there other than the military because they have it so quarantined off. Some of the kids that spy on it and stuff are able to see it and everything. The military has gotten so comfortable with it that in the time gap between the last season and this one, they've set up an entire base on the inside of the Upside Down where Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor herself, is the major general who's in charge of everything, where they're studying creatures in there. And they're also looking specifically for Elle. They're aware of Elle. They want Elle. They got to have Elle. They even reveal it in, I think, in the final episode that they have number 8, Callie from season 2, locked up in there and chained up. They've developed this tech that they're able to shut down these kids, these experiments with these abilities. It almost looks like the little cannons that they had on top of the Humvees in the Incredible Hulk movie, the psionic cannons. But they can just point them out into the wild, and it just causes them to have an immense headache and not be able to use their abilities while it's hitting them. But there's all kinds of wild stuff going on in that aspect of it, and they're trying to get to the bottom of some of this tomfoolery. They're Will starting to get the Peter tingle again that he senses whenever Vecna or the Mind Flayer is around. So they know something is going on while these kids are going missing. So you have Hopper and Elle going into the Upside Down, assuming that the military has Vecna. Vecna's returned, but he's got to be in this military base. We're getting signals from here, and it kind of slowly escalates from there. And there's some major moments in this one too.
Yeah, Hopper and Elle actually end up coming back out. There's this big battle between all of the Demogorgons. That the Demogorgons end up on the base, coming out of the portal. Um, the military tries to deal with them. They can't beat any. They can't beat everybody. Um, basically, the Demogorgons basically beat everyone. And it's really just kind of Will who's left. And suddenly, Will has been going on his own um, journey. All the kids have. It's kind of it's not just there are actual like stories, and there are backstories, and there are characters grow and change and mature throughout the entire 5 season as well. So it's not just all gore, blood and gore, and stuff like that either. But um, Will had this talk with what's her name? I can't think of her name.
Robin.
Robin, and you she basically tells him that Will saw Robin kiss her girlfriend in the hospital, and Robin hadn't told anybody that she was a lesbian. And so Will goes running away and everything. And so they kind of dance around it for a while in some of the episodes, and then Will basically Robin has this discussion with Will about how one of the things that has one something good that's come out of that is that it's helped Robin be who she's supposed to be, and admit who she is and really kind of live the life that she's supposed to live. And there are some hints in previous episodes that maybe Will might be gay as well.
All the way
Um,
back to season 1, episode
exactly.
1.
Right. Exactly. Because and that he likes Mike.
Mike. Yeah, he's always had this crush on Mike.
Right. Because there's and that there and but there's it's very clearly displayed when they're in a van, and Mike is talking about Elle and how much he likes Elle and everything, and he's going on and on and on, and all we see the last shot is you just see Will turn away and he's crying.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, so that's something that Will has to admit to himself, and that's part of what the overall thing is. Besides the fact that he admits that to himself, there, he also is able to admit who he is, and we find out that Will also has these powers as well, and he pulls a Daniel Warren Johnson on him, and
Bro.
he lifts the Demogorgons out of the air, and he breaks their legs and their arms and everything, and then just kind of drops them, and we just see him kind of with the nosebleed as well. So um, Will has been part of that as well, but we just didn't know it up until that
Yeah,
point.
he's been like a total like damsel in distress kind of character. In season 1, he was there for the first and last episode basically because he was kidnapped the whole time. In season 2, it's all about how fragile he is because he's kind of his brain is taking him, like he could just have a flash and he's back in the upside down, but he's really in the real world. So he's kind of like always been the fragile side note character kind of thing, but it's always been revolving around him. He's missing. He's infected by the the events of the upside down, and I think it's awesome that it also reveals that, when we started season 1, we're kind of led to believe that Hawkins' lab was doing like these MK Ultra-esque experiments on these kids that was granting them these abilities. And the side effect of that was these little freakouts that then opened a doorway to this other dimension. But this ultimately shows us that it's your contact with the dimension that is giving you these abilities, which opens up so many more avenues and stuff. Answering Raiders Nation question says, you think there's going to be a definitive ending or an open ending? I think there's going to be a proper ending. I was watching this interview with Sean Levy today, and he was talking about how he was speaking with the Duffer Brothers for a long time about ending this show and how they want to end it. And they were talking about those shows out there that they have and viewers have invested time and emotional energy into for years, and they don't stick the landing, and how the shows that stick the landing or makes you more forgiving to the little missteps along the way and this and that. And they have specifically crafted the finale to this for years, they
Yeah,
said. And they,
I 100% think there will be a definitive ending, but this thing is ripe to come back at any time.
mm-hmm.
With new in a new city, or whatever it happens to be. There's absolutely nothing that says that they couldn't revisit it if they
Yeah,
wanted to.
anything that makes money will get picked up again eventually. That's just the nature of the beast. But in terms of like if this season finale comes out and the world ends the next week, will you have felt fulfilled with what they gave you? I think the answer to that will be yes, for sure.
Yes, but you'll have bigger problems.
Bigger problems for sure. For sure. The ending will fade to black, and we will see them end their D&D game. And a lot of people are speculating on that too, because the farther this goes, the more every single little detail seems like none of it was wasteful.
Mhm.
Everything is so intentional through this whole series. And when they brought Trudy in to join the Hellfire Club and do their little Vecna campaign with them, they were rolling, and you had Dustin rolling 11 that wasn't high enough, and you had Trudy rolling 8, and you need a 20, and we have 11 now. Callie number 8 is back, and with Vecna that's 1, that makes 20. So people are speculating that the 3 of them might have to do something, possibly take on the Mind Flayer, possibly Will is the Mind Flayer, or Will might, like, this might be hype right now, but Will might be like a dark side character. There's all kinds of wild theories about that. Where do you stand with that? Do you see Will going to the dark side? Because we're all
No,
hyped from what we saw, but we
yeah,
have no context to any of that.
yeah. But I think, to your point before, where I think he may have gotten the power when Vecna basically put his tentacle down his throat.
All right, I want to squash this, because on X there are really some people mad at calling this show like crazy propaganda weirdness, because Vecna put his tentacle down. That tentacle was part of the literal environment. Vecna was
Right.
like standing. Yeah. So I don't want to say it was Vecna's tentacle, because
Sure.
some people are getting weird about that, especially over on X. It's crazy over there.
We're not on text. This is YouTube. We can do whatever we
No,
want.
but I just want to add that
This is the
context.
Wild West.
There was a wild tentacle,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
But yeah, but
So maybe that's where he got his power. I
he
would
pumped
think.
him full of upside down.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
That doesn't sound
if
much better.
yeah, it doesn't really. Um, um, I think that if he made him the bad guy, it kind of cheapens season 2 to me. He's done that.
I agree.
He's been the bad guy.
I don't want to see Will be the bad guy. I want
No.
to see him be like I want him to be like the Luke Skywalker of all this, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you think that there might be because the trapeze artist and the flea, their science teacher that we saw again in this episode, explaining to us how wormholes work, and he had the diagram on the board, and then later when they're at the barn, you see Will having the vision, because as creatures in the upside down are close to him, he can start seeing through their eyes and stuff. And he was so close to the source that he could see through Vecna's eyes for a second, and he could see what he was working on. And when he draws it on the barn door, it looks just like that same drawing that their teacher was doing of the wormhole. That also kind of plays into the theory that Vecna's trying to do some time travel stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that. Yeah, but yeah, I saw this theory where Vecna was looking to do time travel stuff. Do you think that's where they're going with this? And it's a wormhole, and that reflects what Vecna's working on?
I don't know. The thing I did think of is that maybe this is all connected to Derry. They all have that freaky house going on that almost looks exactly the same.
Maybe there's a well under this house.
Exactly. Yeah.
It always had to be Will to take the lead against Vecna, in my opinion. He's ultimately the real victim of the whole thing, imprisoned, tortured, and forced to have unspeakable things happen to him as a child. Sounds like the John Kent story all of a sudden. See, that's what X is saying. That's what the people on X are saying. Oh, he put his tentacle in the kid's mouth. Yeah, I don't think so. You calling xenomorphs pedos now?
Exactly.
He's a guy that needs to be Vecna and break the connection to the upside down. And before this season, there's a lot of people speculating who's ultimately in charge here or in control. Who is the big bad guy? Is it Vecna or the Mind Flayer? Because the way the season 1 went to 2 to 3, it's like Mind Flayer is the big bad, but then they rolled in Vecna, and they showed us his backstory and how he went down into Dimension X, and being in there slowly changed him and stuff. And when he found, he sees the Demigorgons, he sees the Mind Flayer creature in the sky, but he shapes it to his will. Like he literally shapes the Mind Flayer to his will to represent something that he likes. Is the Mind Flayer supposed to be a bigger bad guy than he is?
I don't think so because I thought they said that pretty clearly that he's the one who sent he's the one who sent everything to the real world.
That's what I got from it too. I know there's a lot of people doing a lot of wild fan theories.
Yeah.
One of them is definitely that he's trying to go back in time and change events from when he was a kid to change the course of history. That was pretty cool how we got the return of Max, who was a victim of Vecna at the end of the last season, who after she died, Elle brought her back. Unfortunately, her consciousness was not brought back with her. So her body's alive, but she's practically in a coma. And this season, one of the first, well, Vecna takes Mike's young sister, who we watched grow up through this show, and you see she's in what looks like a happy fairy tale version of reality, talking to Vecna, who's portraying himself as Henry, himself before he got this twisted upside down version. And we find out once Max is revealed to be in this same little reality that we have the whole flashback stuff with the whole early stuff with Henry, and that there's stuff in his past that he's afraid of, and it's tied to the year 1959, where we actually go to his school for a brief second when Max is running through this torturous version of reality that she's stuck in. So there's kind of like three levels to everything, is what it seems like. You have the reality, you have the physical upside down, and almost just like the mental upside down that they kind of introduced in season 4. There's a really complex lore to this. Yeah. Max been through some hell. Mark is right. That is exactly what they have been saying on Twitter about the whole scene. But if you see what they saw is happening to the kids now, he went through the same thing. Yeah, it's like he's hooking him up to some kind of upside down machine. He's xenomorphing him to the wall and then plugging him in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me and Badger rewatch the trailers for season 5 after the 4 episodes, and there are actually quite big spoilers in it. Dude, I've avoided trailers and everything for it. I haven't watched any of them, even after watching the 4. The hardest thing that's been for me is to not look into the play, and I haven't been strong enough. I've not been strong enough, and I'm trying to be careful not to talk on anything that is from that information. But the what's it called? Stranger Things Dark Shadow, very, very intelligently named, is a stage play about the early days of Henry, aka Vecna, aka One. But yeah, a couple of the big breakout moments from this had to be Mike's mom when the Demogorgon comes for his little sister, who's one of Vecna's targets. Nobody is home but Mr. and Mrs. Wheeler. And what's his little sister's name?
Holly.
The Demogorgon, they're at the point now where they're not trying to be cunning or secretive. It's clearly an all-out assault. It's just coming through the wall, coming after him, fighting for him. Mr. Wheeler tries to step up with a golf club, and he just gets his gut cut open and smacked across the room. Mrs. Walk him down Wheeler takes a wine bottle and cracks it on the table and goes at the Demogorgon before getting messed up, and Holly ultimately gets taken. But that whole moment, and this is something that the show does well, is setting up like these suspenseful scenes, like these very, very cinematic moments where she just charges in and is attacking the Demogorgon. Then it goes black. And then we cut to other characters. And then you have to come back to the scene to kind of get the details of what happened. And she got stabbed straight in the gut and smacked, but I believe she's still alive and is hospitalized. I think the dad is as well, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. Is the dad alive? They never even really focused on him again.
Yeah. I almost kind of wish he was. He's really not a very nice person.
Who?
The dad.
He's pretty cool.
Holly's dad?
Holly's dad?
Nancy's dad?
Yeah, the one that's always he just wants some bacon, Paul.
Exactly.
He can't get none.
Yeah. How long are these people going to be here?
Can't kick him out? Guess not.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be mad, but he's taking it like a champ. The other big one was episode 4 when Vecna rolls out, because you have the military is taking it upon themselves to go collect all the kids at the certain age range in a certain class that are the ones that are clearly going missing. They would figure if we get them and get them on our base, we can use them as bait, not protect them. We can use them as bait, and equally that'll protect them. Well, our main characters decide that ain't gonna do it. We gotta sneak in via the tunnels under the ground, get them out of there, kind of thing. And in the midst of trying to do that, they all get caught. All the people are right there. The kids are all out there, and Demogorgons just start popping through the ground. This crazy battle between the military and the Demogorgons, just pretty epic. They're just people getting just thrashed left and right. And Vecna has like one of the coldest intros ever, and he just walks in and just new design. You know, he's been in the Upside Down longer. He obviously more powerful, and the design is awesome. He just starts just wrecking people, throwing them around, stabbing them. His arm, like the vines extend out and stab people. Plants his hand through some guy's head.
Oh, that was nasty.
That was wicked, dude. It was up close too. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah. From the
And
back.
yeah, from the back. And then all these kids that they were trying to protect by the time Vecna's done, just the Demogorgons just walking back in the portal, dragging them behind them. It was wild. Yeah, you don't mess with a grown man's bacon. Exactly. You get it. Their mom and dad are both alive. If you listen to what the doctor said to them, they made it through surgery just fine, but their mom could not speak due to her vocal cords being damaged. Ugh. But yeah, then that's when Will does his thing, because after taking the kids, Vecna being the cold-hearted SOB, he sends the Demogorgons back to finish our main characters off who are in different places. Robin out at a wrecked car site, Lucas in the tunnels, and Mike right there outside the portal. And it was cool because like it was another one of those moments where, you know, you have the Demogorgons jumping, swinging on Mike, and you have like the flashbacks.
Right.
They do this good thing of like people's lives flashing before their eyes in these really dramatic moments. And when you come out of the flashback, it's just floating there, shaking, it's trying to move. And
the interesting thing is, I mean, Will is obviously set up, he's more powerful than L, because he was able to deal with the Demogorgons right in front of him, the ones underground, the ones at the radio station, everywhere. L can really just deal with whatever's right in front of her.
Yeah, he was locked in. Such a cool moment. Man, I think that episode 4 of this season, season 4, episode 4 is my favorite episode of all of it so far. And this one is like right there with it. I still think that one, like this one had audible pop out of me like, oh. But dude, episode 4 from season 4, when Max was about to die, like I'm watching it. I was watching it on my phone, but I'm watching it when the scene was over and my hands on my head, like, whew. I look around and realize that I had stood up. Didn't even realize I stood up till like the scene was over. You know what I mean? And that's good television. It was cool. Yeah, Will the Wise, the new Sorcerer Supreme. It was pretty cool.
Ruling from Castle Buyers.
Yeah, from Castle Buyers. That doesn't sound bad, actually. You know. So real quick, excluding season 5, we're only 4 episodes in. How would you rank the seasons 1 through 4? For me, this might be weird. It's 3, 4, 1, 2.
No, okay, not including season 5. You said, right?
Yeah.
Because so far, like to your point, I think episode 4 of season 5 has blown away anything else that they've done. I think. Yeah.
Insane.
So I would say probably 3, 2, 1, 4 for me.
3, 2, 1. Oh, 4 was your least favorite.
Yeah, because I just didn't like the whole Russian prison thing.
Not a fan of Russian prisons, huh? I think that's the point of them, though, is it?
It really is.
And we do spend a good amount of time there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, there's just something for me about season 3. I feel like, I don't know, maybe I don't know. Season 3 was just, to me, just dang good, man. Really good. It was wild. Super wild. Yeah. Whew. Yeah. It's almost hard to reflect back that Welcome to Derry seems like so long ago for me.
Well, yeah, because I have 30 some episodes of.
You have literally 10 years worth of Stranger Things.
Stranger Things in the middle of last episode and this episode.
Yeah, and I've got 1756 to now in between.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Golly. But yeah, Welcome to Derry gave us a pretty strong episode with just the origin of it, right? That was the one that they gave us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, really got the origin last episode.
What was this episode?
This one was where they actually go. They take the kid
Oh,
down.
this
They
is the
go.
one down in the sewers and
Yes,
stuff.
yes,
Okay, see, dude, I'm telling you. That's why it
yes.
felt like so long ago.
Mhm.
I completely forgot. This is the one where Pennywise actually shows up.
Exactly. Yep.
Hold on, let me remember. Okay, I got it. This is okay. Recap time.
Okay.
It's all coming back to me now.
Mhm.
They decide they figured out where they know where it is. They also trick the Native American lady. What's her name? Joy, something like that. I'm getting the two
All right.
shows confused. We're gonna call her Joyce because that
Okay.
name's easy to remember. They get her to come in and talk to her nephew that they interrogated, and she brings a shard and says like, "Go with them. Go find these little totem spots because they think that they can go collect this stuff, and if they get this stuff, they can go get to the source of it a lot better and safer." And they go down into the sewers, which is its playground pretty much. That's how it's kind of gotten away with it and around all the barriers that were up. And they go down there's a little military unit and they just get eviscerated.
Right.
Meanwhile, the
Right.
kids
They
are
they
down there.
identify 22 Niebolt Street as the house. Right.
Okay. Oh
That
yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
right, they identify that as kind of the place that they need to go to and then go down from there.
Yeah, where the
Um,
well is,
right.
which is actually
Exactly.
the landing point for the meteor. That
Right.
well is was made on the impact site. Meanwhile, a little group of kids have kind of recognized that we got to do something about this. And in the midst of doing this, their missing friend from episode 1 shows back up looking like a ghost,
Mhm.
looking like a ghost, straight out, just Return of the Living Dead looking little bastard. And they're like, "Hey, welcome back. This isn't weird, and we're gonna do what you say." Like it was that kind of threw me off. Like guys, like this kid clearly died last year. Look at him,
Yeah.
but he's hiding in a tent at their little lookout spot. They do have the built-in backstory. You know, he comes from an abusive household. He doesn't want to go to the police because they'll take him back to his family. He was in the midst of kind of running away to begin with. Is kind of normal for this kid. So none of that really threw them for the biggest loop. But they pretty much said like your friends that died in episode 1, they're still alive. They're down in the sewers. They're floating. They got this look in their eyes, and some of them can't even talk. Which, if you've seen the movies, you know, like they got the deadlight thing going on. So he leads his friends to believe they're still alive. So they head down to the sewer in effort to go save their friends. Military is going down here. Military fully aware of what's going on now. Go down there with the training. If you see something down here that shouldn't be down here, shoot it. And they see some visions and stuff, this and that. Kids are going through some stuff, this and that. And you get this really cool reveal of Pennywise.
Mhm.
Super
Well,
cool.
the son of the Indian woman who goes down takes one of the shards with him as well. He
Yeah,
manages to drop it actually in the excitement that's going on because that's important too.
it is. It's very important because he goes running from the military, and
Mhm.
which was a funny scene too. Because as soon as he got a chance to bolt, he bolted, dropped the
Mhm.
shard, and the military guy just opens fires at him, saying, "Hey, stop running!" while he's shooting at him. Like, no, dude, I'm going to keep running. You're
Yeah.
trying to shoot me. But that was pretty funny. In the midst of all this, military dude's kid comes running around a corner, and he sees his kid, thinking, "That's not my kid. My kid wouldn't be down here. That's got to be this thing." And he draws up to shoot it, and his best bud, who's next to him, looks at him, looks at his kid, and says, "Hey, I see him too." And he runs in front of him. He turns and stands there, and he takes the bullet so his kid doesn't get shot. Which feels me, I would have just been like, "Don't shoot." Yeah, that's just me though.
Yeah.
That's just me. So there's a couple little silly things that stood out to me. Meanwhile, with the kids also down there, the friend who'd been missing since episode 1, he starts laughing maniacally at one point and spinning around on a pole. And when he does, you get a good shot the back of his head, which has been blowed out, which we knew. And as he's spinning around the pole, he does this impressive, wicked transformation into Pennywise, who then goes after the kids, ultimately about to eat one of them. And as he comes up to eat him, he just freezes and then recoils in fear because that dropped shard was right there by his feet. And I think that's about where it ended, isn't it?
Pretty
Around there?
close. Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
close. Yeah, so we got the reveal of Pennywise. The military's on top of it. The kids now fully know what's going on, and it looks like their paths are crossing. So that scenario where the adults have to work with kids that Paul is fond of might happen right now tonight.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Wouldn't it be? Yeah. Well, wow, what a great show.
I don't mind if they're doing separate things and then they come together. It's just that when they're together doing things and they're so good at what they do together, and then suddenly you split their two stories and throw someone 3,000 miles away, it just didn't work for me.
I think that was one of the strongest aspects of season one of Stranger Things, because like you had Jonathan and Nancy working on the mystery. They're all working on the same mystery, right?
Hmm.
You got Hopper bouncing around between all these different people, and us, the viewer, we can see these clues that Jonathan and Nancy picked up. We have these clues that the kids have picked up, these clues that Joyce is seeing, but none of these characters are seeing the same
Right.
clues, and they're all on completely separate, independent paths that will ultimately
Hmm.
cross to give you a solution. And man, that was really a really fun journey. That's how they do a good job juggling an ensemble cast. They really do. And season four definitely felt wildly different with them in a completely different country, pretty much. And another thing is how they pair up every season, because like there's too many characters for all of them to be together all the time, and they'll put them in different groups and stuff. That's how we got the Steve Dusty dynamic, which is great. I
Hmm.
love it. I love that they're bickering in this because they've gotten to know each other so well. That they can call each other out on their stuff. But I really like that, how they pair them here and pair them there, move them around, bring them
Oh,
back.
that's a good thing Dr. Ron Hoot said. Yeah, I bet he was probably filming the Marvel movie at the time.
I wonder if that plays a big factor. I know Netflix isn't tight on a regular release schedule, but I
Right,
can't imagine how difficult it has to be, because they have not replaced, recast, or any of these people in 10
right,
years.
right. Well,
And he
Holly, I think did.
does she count?
Oh, hey, you know what? Everyone else they let get tall and go through puberty. They didn't let Holly do that.
Stranger Things, Holly, actress. So it started out as Aniston and Tinsley Price. When
Yeah,
kids are so young, they always try to find twins so that they
right.
can, because you have a limited amount of time you can
Right.
film for. Nell Fisher took it over from them two. She's only playing her in season 5. So it was the same actress for Holly in the first 4 seasons. The role was recast Fisher due to Holly having a significantly larger and more developed role for the final season. Oh, I mean,
There you go.
that's not bad though. When
Yeah.
you replace a child actor who,
Mhm.
I just think it's impressive that they took the baby from season 1 and gave it an actual role. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do you see what I was talking about though with Will's acting?
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
how you went through that weird phase with it?
Mhm.
Before season 5 came out, I was talking to Paul offline and was telling him it was kind of weird seeing him go from kid actors, which are a lot more forgiving with their skills, to pretty much young adult actors, over the years. And some of them develop more than others at different speed. And Will was kind of noticeably a little awkward, like a little unbelievable and stuff. And then you get to season 5, and this dude clearly brought his A game, like stole the show.
Mhm.
Absolutely stole the show. Yeah, Hopper's always great though. Yeah, he goes from being cast as just like a kind of like an extra plus in movies to being the Red Guardian and being Hopper. David Harbour's had an impressive career track over those 10 years.
You know who else kind of? Well, they didn't recast him, but he kind of disappeared. Him was um the uh the burner pizza guy.
From season 4?
Yeah.
Well,
He,
he lives out of town.
yeah, but he did. I figured he was going to stay in Hawkins when he drove there.
That's fair. I think he would have gone back to Utah.
Mm.
He kind of fell in love at Susie's house.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, he did. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, I figured he'd want to go back to Utah. And if Susie's not in this season, like that's a crime against humanity.
That's true. He would have been totally like, "Are we done here? We're done, right?"
Yeah, I gotta go. I got a delivery to make.
Exactly.
Yeah, that I think that gave us one of our greatest scenes in the entire show is at the end of season 3 when it reveals that Dusty wasn't lying about his
Right.
girlfriend he met at camp, and then they got him singing the never ending story
Yeah.
song. Yeah, Susie's amazing. She's awesome.
Susie Boo
Susie Boo, yeah.
and Dustin Bun,
Yeah,
Dusty Bun.
Dusty Buns. Golly. What great characters they've developed for this show. It's absolutely wild. So what else happened this week? Thanksgiving. That's not important. People talking about the Snyderverse still. That's happening more and more every day.
Mm-hmm.
We got no news on the Warner Brothers buyout, selling.
Other than I think Warner Brothers said that they were asking for second bids from people.
Not impressed. Try again.
Yeah, exactly.
That's wild. That's wild. Will has definitely stepped up. He was sort of cast as a glorified background character in season 1. It's not surprised that he wasn't quite as comfortable for a bit acting in a lead.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just recognized how bad his haircut was and was embarrassed the whole time.
He even references it, and it even references the bowl cut in season 5.
He does.
Yeah.
Pretty much
Movie's really nothing. Zootopia is already at $500 million worldwide.
When did it come out?
Zootopia 2, Wednesday.
That was fast.
Yeah. $500 million worldwide. And
the new Zootopia movie is out.
Yeah, it came out on like Thanksgiving or the day before.
I know that. Paul said it's already at like $500 million.
Yeah, I want to go.
What's he talking about? The buffering.
And Wicked for Good is like 400 million, I think, or something like that. Pretty close, I think.
I had that up a minute ago. I don't think it's going to have the juice that the first one did. The first one had that random X Factor pop that you really can't plan for. People going and singing along. I saw just from like reading comments and reviews and stuff. Apparently, the second half of the play or whatever isn't as fun, memorable, whatever's the first half.
Oh yeah.
Something about like people said that all the good music is in the first half.
Huge number is the finale of Act 1, which is what they did. The Defying Gravity.
Yeah, so that's like the big finale period. Apparently, I don't know. I still want to see it. I'd still plan on just buying it when it comes out and watching it at home. I need to put part 2 of my part 1 in my Oz collection down there.
I have the Steelbook of part 1 coming on Tuesday.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that sold out everywhere when it came out. And then I did notice when I was looking around online for Black Friday deals and stuff that they've restocked the Steelbooks for part 1. So I was kind of like, should I rebuy it? Should I? Then I'm like, nah. They look cool, though. They're really nice looking Steelbooks. Zootopia 2, Wicked for Good, Predator Badlands, The Running Man are all in the top 5 this week at the box office. Pretty cool list. I still haven't seen Predators. Did you see Predators?
No, I didn't see the Running Man either because he ended up having to work, but it's really not doing that well.
No. Yeah, that's going to have to be a streaming success. Predators isn't doing that well either, despite everyone glazing it online. I got to tell you, this like level of dishonest glazing of stuff, it seems so manufactured and fake that it really pushes me away from stuff. Like we saw it with Superman, right? Like everyone, like every time it made $10 million at the domestic box office, every news site, news source, website, whatever, would make an article on how amazing it's doing. It didn't do amazing. Like all in all, it made them money, but it was not this theatrical release juggernaut. It was a moderately successful film. That's what it was, and that's good. There's nothing wrong with that. But they're doing the same thing for Predator Badlands when it came out. Like I was seeing all these articles, headlines, this and that. Then I went over and I checked the numbers. This movie's going to lose the studio money. It's not even going to make money. It's barely over its production budget. It hasn't even covered its marketing costs yet. And I'm wondering like where they're getting like these marching orders from. Because that's what it looks like. It looks like they're getting paid marching orders. Hey, can you do a piece on our thing? Can you do a piece? That's what it feels like. Meanwhile, movies like The Running Man don't catch any media when it comes out comparatively. Movies like Tron Ares wasn't catching any media when it came out. The day that movie released, there was just the same amount of people making articles on how it was going to flop, or how it was already a flop. Not that it was going to, that it already flopped. These articles were written the day before it released and posted on release day. So that kind of stuff just kind of disheartens the hell out of me. And speaking on that, Tron Ares, which was fantastic, will be available on digital Tuesday. And the Steelbook, which matches the other ones, hell yeah, will be on sale January 6th. It's a tough date to remember. Try your best.
But not for sale yet.
Yeah, personally, come January 6th, I'm waking up early and I'm going to storm the Walmart to try to get my copy.
I will not forget January 6th. It's my brother's birthday. So
Is it? A lot of other people don't forget it for different reasons. Tell you what, if they sell out of all those before I get there, I'm going to riot.
Yeah, have a little sign. No Steelbooks, no peace.
Exactly. I'm here for a totally peaceful purchase.
Right.
Oh man. Hey, did you see the crazy controversy with the big YouTuber pirating comics?
I did see that. He says he's not, although his screenshots would indicate something different.
Yeah. He says he's not, although he said he was accidentally before that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for those that missed that, I saw it on X and I'd already commented on it. And I saw that Steve saw it as well and shared it in one of the chats. I think it was in the Burke chat. But I saw and I don't even keep up with God, I think it's called Comics Explained.
Yes.
And it just caught so much traction it got put into my recommended feed, you know. So these bigger channels like Comics Explained or Comic Historian, the gentleman that passed away, they have these massive YouTube channels with like millions of subscribers where they just take comic books and they take screenshots of them and they go through them and they explain them to you and show you the pictures of them so you don't have to buy or read them. It's a cool concept enough, but I've never found value for me in watching those because I buy and read what I want already. So it's not like I'm really missing anything. And for someone like myself, if there's any curious or context to any story, there's typically people I'm talking to in those times when I'm thinking about them that will be talking about them. But I get the value of it for a lot of people. Never been a fan of it because I think it kind of takes people away from reading. And I don't know how many conversations I've had with people online that it's more than apparent that they didn't read the book, that they just like pulled a Wikipedia read or something. But realistically, they probably just watched these videos. Well, he shared a screenshot of this book right here, the brand new Absolute Batman number 14. And it was a screenshot, obviously, from his phone. And at the bottom of you see the cover, and at the bottom of it, it still has the watermark on it from the pirate website. And people started roasting him. And then some of the people, that are more supportive of him said, hey, I don't know why people are so mad. I assume that you just took this photo off of Google, like gave him the out, they gave him the out. They didn't ask him where he got the photo. They said, I assume you got this off Google. And he responded yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah. Like Google's going to go out and take a screenshot from a pirating site.
So me, like in that moment, cause I was following it at that point, like when I saw it, because I saw it and I put a comment under, like, yo, that's kind of bottom feeder crap for somebody of your stature to be pirating and stealing this work from these creators. Like you should do better. So after commenting on it, now it's coming into my feed. So I saw him take that.
Didn't you also tag Scott Snyder?
I tagged Scott Snyder in that one. I said, I'm sure Scott Snyder and the creators of this book wouldn't appreciate that. But, so at that point, now it's all hitting my suggested stuff. And when the person said, I assume you got this off Google, he's like, yeah, that's what I did. These people just want to be mad about something. So like, dude, it took 2 seconds for me to just grab my phone, Absolute Batman 14, Google, and then scroll and look for that picture he posted. That picture he posted isn't on Google.
Right.
There are numerous Absolute Batman 14 cover photos on there. I've been using them. For numerous streams. I used one for last Tuesday even.
You'll see one as a background for our DC Deep Dive tomorrow.
Yeah, like this stream, last Tuesday's one, and I made that one for last Tuesday, last Friday. Like I make these things ahead of time. None of those are on there. There's not a single one on Google that is a screenshot from that pirate website. And when you search them, the first one you get is the DC official one and stuff like that. That means you would have to pass numerous, if just granted there is a pirate one there, you would have to pass numerous ones from not pirated ones. So that was a lie, a provable lie.
Right.
And then he goes on to say something really egregious. He put the comment up there. He's like, I've done more to get people reading comics in the last 10 years than any LCS or than all the LCS. So I had to put a comment on that. And I said, that's like Cliff Notes bragging about getting kids into literature, because his content isn't getting people into comics. It's so people don't have to get into comics almost. But what are your thoughts on that whole situation?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was gonna say, if you didn't bring it up, I was gonna say the nerve of him to then say that about getting people into comics. Then more LCS was just, it was like, okay, you know what, this guy clearly does not get it.
No, dude. And like, I've been straightforward before. Like, I don't deny using those websites.
Mhm.
I talk about like, what we were talking about earlier with all the stuff that I've done in the last 9 days. How do you think I pull all this stuff off? Not only did I watch over 12 hours of Revolutionary War, over 5 hours of Civil War, over 4 hours of Stranger Things, participate in my family's Thanksgiving thing, take my kids to see Santa, go to the Lights of the South, go take my family out to see the Nutcracker. I did all of that stuff, and this was my pull from this week. It's about time management. And a lot of times, the very books that I have right here, I'll grab my phone if I have a free time, or my tablet if I'm not by my books, and I'll pull them up. The books that I buy that I pull, I'll pull up and read on those free digital things as a time management thing. I used to back in the day when DC was dropping on Tuesday because of the lockdown. Before the shop even opened, I would be awake at 5 a.m., even though it's my off day. I would get my tablet and I would start reading my books in a quiet house while I'm drinking coffee with no one awake yet. And then, I'd get up, get dressed, and when the time came out, I'd go to the shop and start picking those books up. But now I've read them and I got them in while I had an opportunity to, it's just, but to go, and his thing was like, I buy all my comics on I buy them all on digital. Bro, if you buy them on digital, you would have the screenshot. Like, the screenshot would be your digital copy. We saw your digital copy. It's from a pirate website. Like, dude, just be honest. Like, yeah, I was reading it on there. Mm-hmm. You could have said, oh yeah, I wasn't on my home device with my login for my Comixology or whatever people use, like, you could have said anything in the world other than trying to pretend like everyone else with common sense is crazy. Don't piss in my pocket and tell me it's raining. What's up, brother John? How's it going? But yeah, it's just crazy to think that in a time era where comic shops, where the industry needs every leg up it can get, some of the biggest potential influencers in it are sitting there pirating. I like how your voice changes when you do the bad guy character in the story. Man, put a lot of effort into it. But yeah, it was wild. It was absolutely wild. In other news, I put out a video last Monday. I didn't put out one last Wednesday because I was too busy watching Ken Burns documentaries, if I'm being honest. It was a busy week. But I put out that video on the Felix Comics Arts Absolute Batman release. And it was a fun video. And I figured it'd be a fun topic to talk about. It's a very polarizing book. And it was an even more polarizing release of an exclusive. And it didn't take 24 hours before Felix, the owner of the comic shop, reached out to me and wanted to talk. So to see how that goes, check out the video that posts tomorrow, because there's now a follow-up. But yeah, it was a fun conversation. We talked for like over half an hour. I was late to start my DC Day stream because of it. But yeah, it's good stuff. Anything else notable happened this week for you, Paul?
Not really. I mean, like with news and things, this is always a really slow week because of the holiday. So,
what about Black Friday? Did you take advantage of any sales?
The only thing that I got was I bought the upcoming Excalibur on 4K,
which the box art is sick.
Mm-hmm.
I saw where did you see the Swamp Thing pre-order that
I did see
got
that
announced today? Holy potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
The only downside is it's the UK version, which is not really a downside per se, because the 4K discs are all region free, but it's a 4K Blu-ray combo, no digital code included. Mm-hmm. And the Blu-ray disc is a region B. So if you're here in the States and you have a household like this, where you have a 4K player in your living room, but the other players in your house are just Blu-ray players. You can only utilize that one disc. But that box art is insane.
Yep.
You can always just throw away the Region B and put your regular Blu-ray in the case and throw away your old case.
It's true.
What's going on, Flash Ray? How's it going? Merry Christmas. How's that little one doing? Good to see you in here. You want to talk about some books? We got a big stack of them. I do, at least.
Sure.
Well, I'll start with showing these off. So as a reminder, this Wednesday is a Guess That Key week. We'll be live over on Paul's channel for Paul's show called Guess That Key, the premier game show this side of the Mississippi. And as I like to remind people, because of the shape of the world, every side of the Mississippi is the same side of the Mississippi. So it's the greatest comic game show there is on this globe. It's not the Christmas episode yet.
Correct.
But this book right here will be given away at the Christmas episode. This is Star Wars Jedi Knights number 9 variant edition, the John Jang edition. So I showed y'all the Absolute Flash Jang variant that'll be included. This is the Star Wars Jedi Knights Jang variant that'll be included. I'm going to have a big Jang giveaway. So as more come out, I'm just like, okay, well, this one's going in there too. That's absolutely wicked. You got Snake Eyes on there, the Liam Neesons, and I have no clue who that is.
Yeah, it almost looks like it's a young Christopher Lee. But
it does, doesn't it? That's what I was saying. It looks like Dooku. But I like how this Joker looks like Snake Eyes. But it's really cool. That's a really great cover. Yeah. So one of those will be included in the giveaway stuff for the Christmas episode. Paul's already shared what the giveaways are for this week.
Yes. You want to see him?
Hell yeah.
Detective Comics number 40 foil.
It's so shiny.
It is so shiny. Batman number 655 foil.
Oh, yeah,
first appearance of Damian Wayne.
Yeah.
Darryl Warren Johnson, DCKO number 1 foil.
That's out of the blind bag, right?
Only from the blind bag. Yeah.
4.
Batman number 1.
That's
the logo. Bat logo.
Oh, that's Batman proper, the Matt Fraction one?
Matt Fraction, Jorge Jimenez. Yep.
Very cool.
This is Batman number 161. This is the blue foil glow in the dark cover.
Where'd that come from?
Trinity Comics.
Very cool.
And Green Lantern number 25. This is the Steven Subic glow in the dark cover.
Seeing a theme. Foil and glow in the dark.
If it's not foil, it'll be glowing in the dark.
There you go. That's an insane giveaway. This Wednesday, show starts at
9 o'clock Eastern.
And the guests are
Mr. Von Hoot himself, Dr. Von Hoot, and Geek Out with Roscoe.
Oh, nice. Really fun show set up. Hope everyone's there. Come guess some keys, win some books. Let's see. I guess the big one for this week, there's no getting around it. The big book of the week, hands down, is yes, DCKO issue number 2. You got the acetate there. Yours is out of the bag. Show that off. All the A covers are acetates.
Boom.
Yeah, that's wicked. Super wicked. So the big event written by Scott Snyder, second issue, we had all of our heroes and villains racing to the center of the earth, to the heart of apocalypse, having to race across the desolate land with the Valley of the Dead Gods, where they're coming to life and smashing heroes and villains, and they're all fighting to get into this portal. And the 32 that made it into the portal are the ones that get to move on to try to get this ultimate power granted to them by the heart of apocalypse. And this issue picks up right where the last issue left off. But they're not 1v1ing just yet. They have a new challenge ahead of them. A lot of weapons and cosmic power sources from all of DC are thrown into this wasteland, and they are told whoever wields them will get to move on to the next one. But there's not enough artifacts for all the players involved. So half of them will die or be disintegrated for not holding one. So whoever is left not holding an artifact once the last artifact is picked up are the losers. And these artifacts,
one mystery artifact,
and a mystery artifact, yeah. And these artifacts include things like the green the lantern rings,
mother box.
Thor's hammer is in there. There's all kinds of stuff. So it's just a fun battle royale of people picking these things up. Superman goes to reach for one. Lex cuts his hand off, like legit cuts his hand off. Superman's having like a crisis of character kind of thing, and they were told, the only way to win this thing is to let go of your hangups. If you're trying to not just fight to the death, you're not going to make it. If you hold back at all, you're not going to make it. So Superman embraces the concept of proceeding how Darkseid would, and he fully embraces it. And he lights up with like Darkseid Omega energy. His hand reconstitutes as Omega energy. He's shooting Omega beams, and Lex don't know what to do. It was wild. It was super fun. It was violent. It was just enjoyable.
And Darkseid makes his appearance known. Although, well, the only person who would know is Time Trapper, and Darkseid took him out. Darkseid / Booster Gold.
Yeah, he was inhabiting Booster Gold. Yeah, it's a blast. DVH said it was fire. What else you got?
Well, since we're on the DCKO, we might as well go ahead and do the tie-ins as well. So, let's start with that one.
Superman issue number. What is it?
32.
32. Let me pull these tie-ins out. Yeah, if you were wondering how the Legion of Doom showed up at the last minute in issue 1 of DCKO, this explains it.
Mm-hmm.
It literally takes you back and shows you how, thanks to Gorilla Grodd being in the Watchtower as part of the team, trying to figure out what to do about this Darkseid thing, he was telepathically telling his teammates from the Legion what's going on, so they were able to set a trap when they went out to send them to the Phantom Zone. They didn't go to the Phantom Zone. They teleported back to the Legion headquarters, where they rallied together and just took off down there on their own, all inside of a Lex power suit, so they could make the trip down there and everything. It was pretty cool. Meanwhile, all this is happening. Lois is in the Fortress of Solitude with, I would say, the DC A-lister of the year, Superboy Prime. And they're sitting there trying to do what I do on an unhealthy basis, and that's argue with AI. They're sitting there they're sitting there arguing with the technology in the fortress, the files, trying to ask the right questions to get around the generic answers, to get more information on this complex past of Doomsday and how he ties into Darkseid and stuff, meanwhile fighting some of Darkseid's forces and all that. I got to open this door for the dog. You take it from there.
Okay. And so we find that at the end, actually, they're basically fighting all of these Darkseid minions that have come, and at the very end we see Superman come to save the day. And you may be saying to yourself, but how could that possibly be Superman? Because he's in Justice League Unlimited and in KO getting his hand cut off. And we see the return, something that we haven't seen in a long time, and it is basically the Superman robots are back.
Bunches of them. And there's cool because they're dressed like Superman from all different eras and stuff, excluding Earth 22. He was not represented.
Correct.
Yeah, I did notice that. But it was really cool. Superboy Prime don't play. Well, he does play in the best ways.
Right.
It was really cool. I think that was the most meaningful KO tie-in of the week. I feel like Flash, while it's a KO tie-in, it's only just because of who they're fighting. It's not necessarily affecting the larger story.
Right.
Kind of how the story arc started really was more of the tie-in than anything.
Yeah, and Justice League Unlimited with the Terrific 10, they're kind of like a tangent mission. So,
bro, I legit tried to have debates with AI on Grok and on Gemini. I just tried to wordsmith it with them, because I don't know how much if y'all do that, you'll realize how intentionally dishonest some of the built-in prompts for the AI stuff that we have is. But yeah, dude, the Friday night crew, the Illuminati, we're in a chat together. I send them screenshots. So it'll be like Monday morning. I'm like, this is where I'm at with this stupid AI thing. And I'll just argue with it. I'm just trying to test its parameters. And I found a lot of intentionally dishonest little guardrails that it has. That's neither here nor there. It's just fun. Mm-hmm. For somebody who doesn't sleep enough, it's a very fun exercise. Yeah, sorry, back to you.
That's okay. Justice League Unlimited is kind of, I agree with you that Superman is probably the one that's most closely tied, but Justice League Unlimited is kind of It's on they're on like a tangent mission that is important to the overall what's going on, but it is kind of its own separate thing kind of going on. You don't really see
Yeah,
a lot
this is more of a wrap up to We Were Yesterday than
Yeah.
it is like a forward story for KO. And that's not unimportant. We Were Yesterday was a really fun story. There was a time hopping story that took place in Justice League Unlimited and World's Finest, but it ultimately ended with a few time displaced characters, some of which I would argue probably should get some more page time, like Electric Blue Superman. You know what I'm saying? We've got Earth 22 Alan Scott here, which is the Kingdom Come Alan Scott. What we have is this team of displaced heroes that have all band together. They're being called the Terrific 10. What it ultimately is, it's the Justice League Suicide Squad. These characters being time displaced, they're not missing in their time. Their time doesn't exist anymore. They're all fully aware of that. They fully realize I'm only here for a limited time, that I'll basically de-res out of existence at any given time. And because of that, they have nothing that they have to hold back. You know, a man with nothing to lose is a dangerous man.
Mhm.
Mr. Terrific has an entire team of them. So he's taken them to the center of the earth where these apocalyptic hell pits are sprouting up all over Earth due to the events of KO and Darkseid's presence and stuff. They end up in literal hell, and they're having a fight through hell because they're trying to get to Neron, who's a player in all of this and affecting stuff. And it's pretty wild. So you have some heroes going out like champs, just going balls to the wall. You have like a really cool Dr. Fate from a different world. I think from the future. It's like, because it's the female Dr. Fate. I think it's the one that we saw in that Jeff Johns issue before that last run. You've got Night Owl, which it's like it would technically be the third Night Owl, maybe, or fourth even, because it's not Dan, and it's not Hollis. It's not Hollis or Dan, so it'd have to be like the third Night Owl. But yeah, it's really fun, but it's really just a good story with loose tie-in. They're just so they can wrap up these displaced heroes from We Were Yesterday. But what a great opportunity to have them. Miguel, Batman Beyond, is on the team, which is really cool. And he's never seen anything like this in the way that they show you, like, yo, this is crazy. Like, these people are in literal hell, and not everyone would be able to handle this. And he has to have a whole rallying to get him up and going, but I enjoyed it. And John Jang has a variant coming up for, I think it's issue 14 or 15. John Jang will have a variant featuring all Terrific 10 on it. Yeah, I'm excited for that. I don't think it won't be out before the Christmas episode of Guess That Key, so I won't be able to give one away on that.
Yeah, no, I think it's either 15 or 16. I think it is.
Yeah, when I get 3 copies of all of Jang's direct market covers because they go in the giveaway bin. So I'll have one to put in a giveaway. It'll probably be given away on the new DC Day stream that day. So be sure to check out those on Tuesdays. Yeah. And the last KO tie-in for this week was Flash issue number 27. It's Mark Waid's second issue on Flash. I can't tell you how good it is to have a decent Flash writer back, and not just a decent one, a damn good one. He is writing such a fantastic story. He gets the dynamic of all these characters so flawlessly right. We're focusing primarily on Bart, who decided, listening to all this stuff happening with the world, with Darkseid, this KO event, he's like, yo, we're speedsters. Why don't I just go back in time to right before Darkseid did this whole thing when he died, and I just go stop him? Here I go. And about the time he goes, Wally's like, don't do that. And Wally chases after him. They both end up back in that moment where you get this whole Zack Snyder Justice League thing where Bart thinks he's going to run up on Darkseid, but Darkseid just like looks at him and just grabs him, and they're having to fight Darkseid, and they barely get away with their life, and they get thrown through time in there, and there's different time in the past, and the Legion of Darkseid is there. Max Mercury is there. He's under the control of them. So they're having to fight Max and the Legion that's getting amped up with super speed from the Omega Force. And it's just this really cool fight, a super cool fight. It's really dope. So they're hopping through time. Of course, the Speed Force is affected by all of this. They're getting a little boost of speed because they get a little touch of the Omega speed. It's just really fun. It's really good. Even if you're not reading KO, I bet just the Flash fans picking this up, they got to be happy right now going from Size Barrier to this.
I was reading it, and it was at one point where I said to myself, no, this is how you write a Flash story.
Yeah. Haven't said that out loud since Jeremy Adams run.
Yeah.
Man, I miss Jeremy Adams on Flash. God, he's good. He's good at what he does, Paul.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I know that you probably didn't Wait, let me get some of these I know you didn't read. So this will take up a few out of the stack here. Yeah, let me grab these. Let's do the other big event. Quite literally big event. Issue number 5 came out this week, right? Is it 5?
Yep.
Yeah, issue number 5 of the MonsterVerse tie-in to the DC Universe. Justice League, Godzilla Kong, battle number 2. And as you can see from the A cover here, King Ghidorah is on the scene. We're dealing with Hollow Earth. We're dealing with Shaw, Kurt Russell's character from the MonsterVerse, who's pretty much like lording over the Legion of Doom and the Suicide Squad as his prisoners to kind of force them to go here. They're pretty much trying to take advantage of the Titans and the stuff in Hollow Earth and the technology to weaponize it so that they can use this to make Titan-size heroes and villains and all of these things. And it's not going great. In the last issue, Superman was forced to yank the serum and inject it to kind of fight off Godzilla. And that's where we left. So this picks up with that fight. And it's just an all-out battle. Kong finally shows up, and Godzilla gets back up on his feet right about the time Ghidorah gets there. So it's Superman, Kong, and Godzilla trying to fight off Ghidorah for most of the issue. And it was just a fun knockdown battle. I did get the Alan Qua connecting cover, which these are just one long connecting cover. And it features Mammoth there on that one, which is dope. You can see Skrilla coming in on the side for the next one. And then this one, I showed this to Paul. Lucas Myers. Big shout out to Lucas Myers, who drew this great cover and did this very excessive and has to be intentional amount of feet on a cover. Look at that. Even Cheetah, both her feet. Look at that. Cyborg, both his feet. Boomerang, both his feet. One's got covered by the trade dress a little bit. You never see that many feet. Look, Enchantress, both her feet. Luthor, both his feet. That is crazy. Everyone's feet are represented properly on this cover, except for Giganta. I mean, she's a giant. But yeah, no one ever does that. For context, just looking at this one, John Stewart, you had to show his feet. He's flying. But everyone else's feet are just hidden behind rubble and stuff. People just hate showing feet. And then last but not least, keeping the Kevin Maguire variants, we got Rodan and Green Lantern. I can't wait to get this set out and take a picture of it all together with these kind of scale variants where they scale the heroes properly to the Titans. It's just really cool. Did you read that one this week?
It is arriving on Wednesday, I believe.
You're in for a treat. It's fun, man. It's really fun.
All right. This is actually something very unusual happened this past week.
Okay. You bought a non-DC book.
I did. But two different publishers published two different stories with the same title.
Same name.
Yeah.
Which one you going with first? There's both of them.
Yeah. So
this is the brand new Black Label series.
Yep. Exactly.
A really long name.
Batman, Green Arrow, The Question, Arcadia. Gabriel Hardman, though.
Yeah, I want to see your cover. Which cover did you get? The A cover?
Got the A cover.
Yeah, man, I am an A cover snob, but I saw this Bill Sienkiewicz cover. I'm like, I'm getting that one.
Yeah, and if you're a Question fan from way back, he did some killer covers for the Question.
From the Denny O'Neil run?
Denny O'Neil and Dennis Cohen run, yeah. And
how did this feel reading it compared to that run? Because this one
was pretty close. I mean, it deals with a lot of the same things. It was, it was very there was noir, but it was also there was a lot of
it's meant to be a social aware
exactly.
throwback to the Denny O'Neil era.
Right. Yeah, there was a lot of social awareness and social justice and things like that. So got a CGC 9. Nice.
Got a 9-point frowny face. Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, it did actually feel a little bit like the Denny O'Neil back in the day.
Yeah, if you're a fan of like corporate elite kind of talk destroying a town, they got it. If you're a deal of climate crisis, they got it. If you're like, it kind of touches on a lot. What is the other one? Those protesters throwing red paint on stuff. They got it. Like, it's meant to be an homage to, because that's what that was. It was kind of like tapping on the the social status of its era and everything. And this does a good job of that. It doesn't take sides in that thing. It just, so don't think that this is going to this isn't one of those ones beating you over the head. It's just aware that these are the people that are out there talking about social issues, and here's them, there's them. And you got 3 different characters in this with Batman, Green Arrow, Question. So they're going to spread it out a little bit. Ultimately, the story is about Arcadia, which is this floating city project that the rich are developing for, if and when the oceans rise. If we can develop floating cities and invest in this, we can sell people on that. That's a great investment. And there's more to it than meets the eye. It's tied to these other issues and problems, and there's a lot of questions involving it.
I get it. That's funny.
You like that?
Yeah.
So Green Arrow and the Question are investigating it, and they run into Batman, who's been hired to stop the what is like the green extremist people, the geoterrorists that are attacking the project and stuff. So Batman's there to stop some geoterrorists, and Green Arrow and the Question are there to get to the bottom of what's going on behind the scenes that Batman's not aware of yet. One of the coolest things is we get to see Batman use not just his regular suit, but 2 tactical suits. Like for, like how Batman has all these cool suits. Like, you go buy the toy, I want Arctic suit Batman or this, that. You get some cool Batman suits. I thought that was great. And
it also is, the whole series is an homage to, if you're a hardcore DC fan, you remember back in the 80s, the Batman, Green Arrow, and Question annuals, the 3 of them crossed over each of their annuals crossed over with the 3 of them that Denny O'Neil did. And so this is kind of an homage going back to that. So
that's freaking cool.
Yeah, and if you want to read them, you can actually read them. They're in the first volume of the omnibus, the Question omnibus.
Or if you want to read them, reach out to Comic Explained. He has a link for you.
Exactly. There you go.
There you go. Yeah. It's called a callback.
Mm-hmm. And then we had the new Anaki brothers.
Boom! Anaki and Roy Miranda's brand new title.
Yeah, the Miranda brothers. What did I say? Anaki brothers? I meant Miranda brothers.
Sorry. Yeah, Anaki's his first name. You're not wrong. Arcadia. I got the A cover and the I think this is Ava De La Cruz. I don't know. It looks like Ava De La Cruz to me. Ava De La Cruz does all the coloring for him, but whoever it is, got the B cover. Brand new series. This was wild in like the best way possible. I got to tell you, after this first issue, I feel like it was a lot more crafted, similar to We Live than Blade Forger. You get introduced to a couple of I guess scrappers that are going through different silos looking for stuff. And inside this silo, like there are these giant, what almost look like robotic entities that have been dormant for years. And these people look like humans, but you find out from their conversation that they're not, that they were born out of these machine entities that are in these silos that are dormant. While they're in there, a storm causes a bolt of lightning to come down, and it strikes the silo they're in, and it wakes them up. And let me try to get a shot of these things. Yeah, these things are just like rows of them. I mean, just rows and rows of them in here where they're walking around looking. And they have a name, but man, there's a lot of lore in here, so I don't have all the names off the top of my head yet. But the lightning strikes and it turns them all on, and when it does, immediately people start coming out of them, because that's how people in this world are born, out of these entities. They don't know where they came from. They don't know why they're there. They just know that's where they're born from. They live for a long time. And also in this world, there's almost like infectious creatures running around. If you get bit or anything, you're just a dead man walking. And they pretty much just get this one newborn out and back home and into a safe place. And it kind of flash forwards to it kind of getting older and getting named and stuff. And the big reveal at the end of this is that our narrator is the biological son of that newborn in the book. So it was kind of like the narrator of the story is going to be like the first like proper born human being in forever, because everyone comes out of these machines and they're just trying to survive in this world with no knowledge of their past. They know of humans that once had the world before it was destroyed. They're born with these pearls in their head that when you die, like someone takes them out and keeps them. And ultimately you just kind of expire after 100, 150 years kind of thing. There is so much more structure than I'm giving this description, but it was really cool. It has me super curious, and I can't wait for the next one. It had some good action in it. And it has the soundtracks to go with it. So as you're reading it, you can hit the QR code scanner and listen to some really cool music that kind of sets the tone for what you're reading as well. What'd you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this offline. One of the things that the Miranda brothers do best is they're great at building worlds and building lore, and they do it over the course of, they don't like dump everything all at once at you. So I'm expecting big reveals as we go along. But yeah, I mean, they looked at the top of the game, and I was very happy because this my local comic shop, they do, which I only go to my local comic shop because of Comics Explained, but
Good for him.
they do like they put like 4 or 5 books at the counter,
Yeah.
kind of spotlighting, and that was one of the books that was there.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, to your point, they do an amazing job because, like I said, like we start off with these scrappers going down in the silo with these machines just in there, and we don't know what they are. And we just get this little bit of lore saying, like, we don't know why we're here. We just know we come from these things and we don't want them waking up, kind of thing. And it's revealed by the end that they live to be over 150 when the scrapper that found him, years have gone by from the opening scene, and that newborn they found is like part of his family now. And he's getting old, and they reveal like as you get old, you kind of just get like almost like a vein showing through your face where you're basically just rotting quickly, kind of thing. And it's a terrible way to go. But just the way they introduce you to this world already with this backdrop with existing items in it that clearly have lore that go back for a long time, mentioning we know humans were here before us. Well, what happened to them? Now I want to know. And like, what is that pearl? Like that they're born within your head. Mm-hmm. But I encourage everyone to grab issue 1 and read it and see if you're not ready for issue 2 by the time you close the pages. It's really fun. Really fun. Mm-hmm. Tell you what else is really fun. And it's a guilty pleasure of mine.
It's got to be a Dynamite book.
Not quite.
Okay.
Department of Truth.
Okay.
Issue number 34. Oh. Yeah, issue number 34. So one of the coolest things about this book is you never know what they're going to talk about. Mm-hmm. There's an ongoing narrative through it. And sometimes it'll take a detour and touch on like, let's do a little Bigfoot thing, but let's present it by just like a standalone. We'll bring our main department in at the end just to tie it in. But what they're doing in this one has to be the equivalent of James Tynion just sitting at his desk, rage writing, just mad, seething with anger over the course of last November. Because this is pretty much the Doge issue. Okay. The department is under new leadership, and they're firing all the old people who were in there. And the guy in charge of going through firing them clearly has a little bit of familiarity with other like notable people. And the way that they're going around firing them is it's really hilarious. And you just have like one staff member like, I got to sit through all this kind of thing. And it's, they make the comments and stuff like, it's getting weird in here. And they're saying that while like a fiction of the J6 shaman guy, with the horns, like he's walking around, he's not real because he's a fiction, and he's walking around just like rubbing people's faces, and the new management thinks it's normal, and everyone else is like, what is happening? It was hilarious, dude. It was so funny. I'm like, dude, I can imagine how mad Tynion was when he crafted this issue, because that was the setting of some of this issue. Meanwhile, our main character, Cole, is running from the department because they want to go take him out because he went and worked with the Black Hats, which is pretty much the Russian equivalent of the Department of Truth. And you have things are just going bad. You have Lee Harvey Oswald not happy, who's supposed to be running the department, who's not happy with how things are going. It's just getting really serious, like on who's going to ultimately be controlling what is and isn't true. What's up, big dude?
Hello.
15. We pushed the back door closed. Thanks, man.
15.
But yeah, it was good. It was good. Simmons on the art never disappoints. There's a backup story with Elvis, which is just amazing. Like, like there's so many different versions of Elvis. When you look up a video of Elvis, is this like early movie star Elvis? Is this gospel Elvis? Is this pilled out overweight Elvis? Is this karate Elvis? And all of those Elvis are separate and one and the same, fighting to exist at the same time. And the only time all these different frantic frictions can lock in on the same person is when he's just going ham on his music, just really really getting it, dude. It was really cool because a strike team comes to take him out as the fiction, and he goes karate Elvis. It was really cool. I like the Elvis stuff in there. I like how there's just such smart writing and ways to approach these topics and put it into a story form. Yeah, good stuff. What else you got?
I only got one more.
I got 5 more. You didn't get Detective?
I did, but I haven't read it yet.
Okay, that's fair. Green Lantern 29. Talk about another throwback issue, homaging a time gone by. What'd you think?
Homaging the old Green Lantern, Green Arrow stories.
Yeah. I told everyone on Tuesday, if you're upset, if you're missing out on Green Arrow content, go pick up Green Lantern this week. It's just a one shot, stands on its own. Great team up story here.
Yeah, and we're gonna get and we're promised Green Lantern Batman next issue. So
yeah. So this one is pretty much just Hal meeting up with Ollie, saying, "What's up, dude?" And then going and investigating a robot attack. And the robot attack goes to a bunker where people are making a rich person think tank kind of place is making doomsday preparations for the Omega event happening in DCKO, and they're having to deal with some of the rogue elements of it. You know, when you're dealing with robots and robots are getting self-aware out of place, they got to fight. So it's just a cool little watching 2 buddies hang out and fight some big robots kind of issue. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, just 2 hard traveling heroes.
Yeah, pretty much. You get Geiger?
I did, but I haven't read that one either yet.
Okay. Long story short, he's in the prison. The cover says a lot about it. Shocker. When you turn that on, it's just what the doctor ordered. Yeah, fires him up. I don't think you pull Berserker, do you?
I did. I started way back,
Mhm.
but I only got like 6 issues or so, and then I dropped it.
Yeah, I got to tell you, the original 12, 6 were pretty. 7 is about the time that they go out there and start diving into like the creation of being stuff. I'm really loving these a lot more than the original 12. What Berserker does now is just a one shot every couple months. I think it comes out quarterly, but every couple months you get a one shot. It's a little bit oversized and it's from a random time. I mean, I say random. I'm sure they announce it way ahead of time. I just don't pay attention. Like I see it when it's in my box or when it shows up at the shop. But you'll have one in the Wild Wild West. You'll have he was there at the sinking of Atlantis, and now we're in pirate days. But just you're following this captain here, this lady who has her ship, and she's being chased by a bunch of God, I think it was a bunch of people from Spain. Maybe they were all heavily tied to the church, and she had to be taken out because there was something about her. But as they're sailing, they're being caught up with, but she says stop because she hears a thumping. She can hear Bee's heart at the bottom of the ocean. So she dives down, and you're wondering how she's doing all this. She dives down and she gets his chest and she brings it back up and she opens it on the deck. And it's like his contorted, his dismembered, stuffed in a box self. And they dump him on the deck and he starts reconstituting pretty fast. And as he's reconstituting, the other ships catch up with him. They're like, we're all going to die if you can't figure something out, Captain. She goes, don't worry about it. I got this. And she darts off the boat to the ships that were trailing. Find out she's a vampire. Vampires are real. They do exist. And she was being hunted because she was a vampire by the church. And she just wreaks havoc on these guys. About that time, Bee's up and, you know, he feeds on war. And he hops in the battle and fights them. And they end up having this fantastic conversation from one immortal to another kind of thing. And she kind of put some things in perspective for him about purpose and that lack of meaning of life that he had at this point in time, where you come to find out he was willingly in that box at the bottom of the ocean. It was almost like an attempt, you know, to push the limits of his immortality and see if it can all just be over or not. And they rock side by side for a while, and they go deal with some of her personal stuff, family battles, and with these other witches and things like that, only to have like the kind of the foreboding talk of the witches, like recognizing what B is, saying you can't work with this guy, he's death incarnate kind of thing. And she's like, yeah, whatever. And she gets mortally wounded, where he actually gives her some of his blood, which she had neglected earlier on, because she said, whoever I drink from, I share their memories, and I don't want yours. I can see like you're a man in pain and curse, and I don't want to have to live with whatever it is you're living with. But she ultimately has to. And despite that, she still is able to burden what he had been through, which shows him that he kind of should be able to burden it as well, kind of thing. It was a great issue. I really, really enjoy Berserker. Like this, it's just such a great concept, and I like how they can dive into specific themes when they're doing it this way. Like these one shots just really service it so well, and I really hope that Kinanu does something with this in film
Mhm.
before like it's too late. I think it would be tremendous to see something of Berserker in film because you can do like a lot of flashback sequences and stuff, and can really build it out really nice. I'd rather it take place in one of the olden days than like I'd rather it start like in the modern time and him just tell you a story and it immediately take you back and spend the whole time in the backpack. You know what I mean? Like
Then
even if it was an animated thing like they had talked about, that would be the format. Like him in some kind of government or think tank operation sitting there just telling the stories, you know, in every couple episodes it takes you back to another time. Unlimited potential.
Mhm.
I really enjoy it. Yeah. Terminator Metal number 2 is out this week. You get to see just how far a Terminator will go to infiltrate. It takes place in a T600 labor factory. The T600s were the models that had the rubber skins that couldn't infiltrate for crap. And you follow these humans that are in a slave factory where they're scrapping parts and stuff. They're guarded by T600s and they're planning their escape. And they're pointing out how that the Terminator factories and operations have been hit so hard lately that they have a good chance of escaping because they can't afford to kill us. They'd have to chase us down and try to bring us back. That's why we're scrapping for them. And one of the people that is in this slave factory is talking about this safe haven that they come from that the Terminators can't get in. They try all the time, but it's just a bottleneck underground facility, so they can't get their numbers all in one place big enough to overwhelm their defenses. And he said, you know, I thought that my wife had made it there, and I got to get there. If I help you break out of here, you got to take me back to there. So they work together. They get out. They make it back to this place barely, and they're safe. And they get there and finds out that his wife wasn't there. There's never any record of his wife being there. So he was sad, and he goes to sit on guard duty. And the girl that broke him out comes to visit him on guard duty that night and tells him that she's shocked that he's on guard duty so early after just getting there. And she's happy to relieve him. He's like, no, I'm fine. I'll deal on guard duty. She goes, no, I got it. It's like, no, I'm fine. She goes, oh, there's probably nothing going on anyways. And she looks out the slit, and there's an army of 600s out there. And about that time, she gets hit over the back of the head with a rock, and he kills her. And he opens the door for the 600s who say, good job. Your wife is safe for one more day. And he just breaks down crying, saying, how much longer do I have to do this? So before they could infiltrate themselves, they used humans to infiltrate for them because they went in there and slaughtered everyone. It was wild. What a cool little twist. Detective we'll talk about when you get it in. It was good. And then the big one for this week is Infernal Hulk number 1. I got the 1-in-25 ratio for it as well. This is a not a starting point, but it is a starting point. A lot of people jump on. It's a number 1 new Hulk issue. It does a good job in the first page, giving you like a breakdown. So this one story arc has been going for over 2 years now, culminating in this. This is not Bruce Banner. Bruce is separated from the Hulk. This ancient monster deity called Eldest is inhabiting the Hulk's body. It's been after the Hulk's body this entire time. It eventually got a hold of it. So now that it has it, it decides to, now I have it. Number 1 starts, and it comes to town. And it comes to town, and you get a fight between Infernal Hulk and these town people, and it's pretty heartbreaking and gut-wrenching because like you kind of tie you to these random town folk characters, and they give you a little bit of backstory to them and lore to them, just enough to make you kind of get heartbroken when they get savagely killed and turned into monsters. Because who Infernal kills, you can bring back as a monster. And very much similar to Stranger Things, if it just infected the town and took everything over, and the vines and the tentacles, it kind of turns the whole town into this. And Infernal sits on the throne and says, I'm here, let the monsters rise. And it immediately, at the end of the issue, gets noticed by the news. And I guess the other heroes are going to have to formulate some kind of something, because this is an event much like with Immortal Hulk early on, with what was going on with Immortal. It was stuff that, you know, couldn't be ignored by the greater universe. They're going to have to come in and get their whooping and realize this is something that we're going to have to just sit out. If this is going to get resolved, it's not going to be from us. So the person that can resolve this, you need to get to work. We'll be watching from a distance. And if we have to step in, if there's anything we can do, happy to. But if y'all remember Immortal Hulk with what was going on with Immortal, the Avengers tried to step in like issue 9 and like Hulk broke Thor's jaw with one punch and just like it wasn't the time. Like, guys, I'm dealing with something here. Get out of my way. No, okay, bop, 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 bop. All right, now I'm going to go deal with my thing now. You know, and I thought that was cool how they handled that. When the story's so big, you can't let it go like, you know, where was everybody else while that was happening? You address it. It just makes it fun. And it's cool when these characters cross over, especially to see them get a good doo-wopping.
Yeah. And that was probably the biggest news from this week was that Philip Kennedy Johnson is now going to be exclusive to Marvel.
Exclusive to Marvel, yeah.
He's still going to finish his Book of L, so that goes 12 issues, and he's going to.
Are you going to finish it?
Book of L?
Mm-hmm.
Probably will, yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, after that last issue, I was feeling more confident about it. I feel like we're getting away from this Smallville thing and the Brainiac thing pretty fast, so I'm more interested now.
Yeah. And he's going to finish what he's doing on Batman and Robin, but that's only like 2 or 3 more issues. But he's going to do the whole 12 issue on Book of L.
That's crazy to be doing that much work for DC and sign exclusive for Marvel. What does it mean for his indie work? Because I know he does like indie books from here and there.
Usually, those exclusives don't count any creator-owned work, so they can create whatever they want.
That's wild. As out of the future state boom, DC got Romvee, DC got Jeremy Adams, and Marvel got Philip Kennedy Johnson. 2 for 3 ain't bad. And if I had to pick, I'd pick them in that order. If I could only have 2, I'd take Jeremy and Rom. I really, really hold Philip Kennedy Johnson in high regard for his work on Superman. Mm-hmm. And I've enjoyed Hulk. But in the grand scheme of Hulk, it's not ranking like super high for me, if that makes sense. Like the Peter David run, the Immortal run, the Bruce Jones run, those are still like as I was reading Immortal Hulk, I'm like, this is going down in history. Like every week, I'm like, this is a historical moment for Hulk. And I felt that way like in the late 90s, early 2000s, reading the Bruce Jones arc. I'm like, dude, this is being written in a way that I've never even imagined. Like, this is crazy. Like coming out of the weird 90s, you know, and all that. Like, it was an incredible shift with the Return of the Monster stuff. And then obviously the Peter David era is just legendary. So much of him was defined in that era and stuff. But this one is just, I don't know. It's there. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's just really, it's long in the tooth at moments. But then you have issues like this that are just more dynamic because it's a fight issue. It's kind of got those hyper violent moments that make you say, oh, and you kind of remember that feeling of saying, oh, more than you do the story and all that stuff. But yeah, it wasn't bad. I have a hard time saying if I'd recommend it or not. I mean, I think that anybody that picks up this issue number 1 will enjoy it as a standalone issue at least, because it's wild. It has those moments. Like, people are getting grabbed and squished and stuff like that. And Nick Klein's art is fantastic, but at the same time, he's wildly inconsistent because he's self-admittedly extremely slow at drawing. So they have to constantly have substitute artists in like every couple of issues. And that takes the piss out of it for a lot of people. I firsthand know at least 5 people that dropped it because of the fill-in artists. And I think one of them even was Dope Comics, who's like a diehard Hulk guy. You know what I mean? He was sitting there like throwing the book across the room because like the fill-in artists don't make or break it for me. It's the story that always do it. But I know everyone's a little different. So I'd throw some caution out there for that. Saw an article that TK is going to write every episode of the Mr. Miracle animated series. Then we're in good hands. Because I know you haven't got there yet, but read his 12-issue maxi series on Mr. Miracle. Holy smokes.
So at some point there will be a vegetable plate that will be involved.
Did you get New Gods in yet?
Yes.
Did you read it?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
He is leveled up.
Dude, when they actually show you what it looks like for Mr. Miracle to escape something, I'm like, oh my God. Dude, what a moment. Just how like he's a god. So it makes sense he's not just I'm Harry Houdini. I can just wiggle out of handcuffs. Nope. Nope, not the case. Like, that was wild when Desaad had that machine and he just locks in and just, you see it through his eyes, just deconstructing it and just straight through. I'm like, God, that was cool.
And he's the new Highfather.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was man, it was good. Orion is awesome. He's so cool. Dude, when he took when he got that hole blown through, I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no, no. I love the way it ended though. The new gods will return. I'm like, yes. Give him more issues. Man, that 12 issue story arc, Paul. That's getting brought up at the end of this month for sure. I had such a good time with that. Some of the most cinematic and epic moments happened in that first half of that with the siege of New Genesis and stuff, which is wild. Highly recommend everybody go back and pick up the most recent New God series. 12 issues wrapped up for now. But man, I really, really enjoyed it a lot. Man, it was good. And the design, the art. It was Evan Cagle.
Yeah. Yep.
Ooh, and there was a lot of people that worked on it because, like, when they did the flashback to the old gods, they went and got Ricardo, who did all the old gods artwork for PKJ on the War World Saga. I'm like, talk about editorial consistency, god tier. Like, it was just incredible. The new gods will return in Avengers Doomsday. Yeah, exactly. LOL. That's all I got. I haven't got to Space Ghost number 5 yet, or Marvel Knights Punisher yet. And I still have Spirit of Violence number 2 from last week. I don't know if I want to stay on this Ghost Rider book. I'm going to read issue 2 and see. Issue 1 didn't blow me away. We'll see. I won't pull Punisher and Ghost Rider if they ain't great, but I sure will pull them to give them a shot. But we'll see. It's pretty cool though. 2 Punisher books. The main Punisher storyline is really good right now. But yeah, be sure to tune in at 10 a.m. tomorrow for the Absolute Wonder Woman and the Absolute Batman number 14. The big battle between Batman and Bane goes down. The finale to the Bane story arc and the finale to the 2-issue Wonder Woman layover story. Where yeah, it was wild. I'm sure everyone's read this by now, but if you haven't and you want to hear our thoughts on it, be sure to check that video out. I highly recommend it. It's crazy. You got anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. And final reminder, don't forget to hit that join button, become a channel member. We're running the greatest comic story ever told giveaway. I'm thinking, let me look at the calendar. Take 2 seconds here. December, the last Sunday of December is the 28th. I got the slab ordered. It should be here in the next day or two. So I'll try to piece everything else together and want to aim to do. I don't want to wait till after the New Year's to do at year's end. So I guess on the 28th, December 28th is the last Sunday of the month. We'll do at year's end on then. And so bring your list, your top 3 favorite reads of the year, favorite TV show moments, movie moments, and bring your worst of moments if you want to. I think that this has been such a stronger year than the past few, to be honest with you. Just off the top of my head, I really can't think of worse. You know, we had like Madam Web and the Marvels, and just like some very obvious bombs, you know what I mean? But I don't think we really had a year like that, or either it's just been drowned out by so much enjoyable content. So it'll be fun. And we'll draw the winner. So make sure you hit that join button. Make sure you're in the Legion tier. I'm going to have the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive McFarlane figure, the Absolute hardback edition of Kingdom Come, the 9.8 slab for issue 4 to match the San Diego Comic-Con figure, the BTC exclusives, and more. Oh, yeah, and the movie, the Legend of Kingdom Come Emerald Edition movie even. So, yeah. Sure, check that out. That's it. That's all I got. You got anything else, Paul?
I think that's it.
I'm about to make like a baby and head out. Oh, yeah, we'll definitely be talking about that. That's coming quick. Not 2 weeks. But I hope everyone has a good night. And I'll see y'all Tuesday for the new DC Day stream. Peace.
Only one of us has a parachute. Good luck.